Anthony, you want to drop any bars or spit hot fire right now before we get started, or no?
Well, when you have to homeschool your preschooler during quarantine, you read a lot of children's books. So I guess that seeped into my subconscious
That was good
during
stuff,
this long
man.
rain delay we were all on.
That's
I
good
just
stuff.
want to know why John Hamm couldn't read my stuff. He reads
Yeah,
Tom Verducci, but not me.
absolutely. Yes. Well, we'll see if we can work on that for the DVD, for the director's cut.
All right.
Let's talk about 3 dates that you want to talk about and that kind of stick out for you. Why is August 1st important for you?
Yeah, this is more like August 1st-ish. It could be the July 30th, 31st, August 2nd, just somewhere around there, a week into this regular season is when it's quote unquote safe to call up a top prospect without losing a year of control. And we all know that service time is a major factor in Major League Baseball. And we see this all the time in the 162 game season where mid-April is usually a time where some guys start to come up from the minor leagues. In this scenario, you have to hold them down for 6 days to maintain that extra year of control. So, maybe a week or so into the season, we'll start to see the likes of Casey Mize with the Tigers, or Joe Adell with the Angels, or Nate Pearson with the Blue Jays, or Dylan Carlson with the Cardinals. But there's also risk there just because, the reality is we don't know if the season could end prematurely, and then the math changes when it comes to service time. So it's a fascinating dynamic because, the way young talent, particularly in recent years, has impacted this game, it stands to reason that young talent will impact it again here in the 60-game sprint. But, when do you call those guys up and how long of a leash do you give them? It's a fascinating dynamic in a shortened season.
August 31st, the trade deadline. What do you think that deadline is going to look like this year?
Yeah, I think it's going to be quiet. And it's funny because we were kind of groomed to believe now that no trades happen after July 31st. And now most of the trades are going to happen in August in this particular schedule. But, there's a couple factors working against a big blockbuster like a Francisco Lindor or Nolan Arenado or Chris Bryant, which is one is time. You only have 38 days between the start of the regular season and the trade deadline. Not a lot of time to suss things out. The expanded postseason creates more buyers, conceivably, but it also limits the number of sellers. More teams are just going to be mathematically involved in the race. And then in terms of acquiring prospects, if you were a selling team, you're limited to the players that are on the 60-man lists. There's no minor league season to scout and evaluate. And again, getting back to that point of if there were to be a premature shutdown and you were to expend an inordinate number of prospects to get talent and help for this year's playoff race and this year's October, you'd want to be absolutely certain that it's going to happen. So I know we're all going to put our best foot forward and hope it does happen. But I think it's going to be a quieter trade deadline than we're accustomed to seeing.
And speaking of the postseason, September 29th is on your calendar.
Yeah, September 29th is the start of the new look postseason, as announced yesterday. And, the 16-team dynamic is something that I think would be a lot more controversial in a 162-game season than a 60-game season. I think most of us understand that, with the schedule being regionalized, that really makes the wild card chase a lot different. The dynamic is different when strength of schedule plays such a big factor in that. So I'm glad they expanded the postseason. I'm glad they came to this agreement. It benefits both sides. Now it does perhaps reduce, the urgency to go out and win a division championship because you still have to be part of that best of 3 first round. But what it also does is it eliminates tiebreakers, Robert. No tiebreaker scenarios this year, unfortunately. But with the expanded postseason pool, that mitigates the need to settle things on the field. They'll settle things mathematically if there is a tie for a division or for a postseason spot. Head-to-head will be the first tiebreaker, then intra-division record, and then your record in your last 20 division games if it comes to that. So that'll all be decided mathematically as opposed to on the field. They want to get the postseason, get it going. Just one day separating the regular season and the postseason and get it all in the month of October.
That's Anthony Castrovince of MLB.com. Great stuff as always, man. Have a good weekend.